Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Stanley here. Today I'm going to talk about Nostalgic Brothers Headphone Head. So I did this album in 2008, right before I moved to Washington State. I was still living in Augusta, Georgia at the time, and yeah, this was recorded shortly after the Melody album in 2007. So this was just kind of like um, a lot of the songs were, recorded the first 6 months of 2008 because I moved to uh, Washington State in 2008 around August. So most of this was like between January to June, I believe. It's all a little hazy. Anyways, it was over 10 years ago. Um, so the first one is an intro, just talking about the album, not really. The concept of the album was Headphonehead was I recorded most of my music with a headphone. Uh, so um, so I always listen to the feedback of the music through a headphone. So that's why it was called Headphonehead. Um, Closer, let's see. I think I remember it had acoustic guitar. Um, is that flute? I don't remember. Most of it is keyboard anyway. I just wanted to. There was the acoustic part, and then just the singing, just kind of like a poppy bubblegum pop song, I guess. Closer to you, da, 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 da. Yeah, something like that. Next song is Kid Brother's Dream, KB's Dream. Um, I remember it was basically I took the same like drum beats from the previous Nostalgic Brothers album, Ice Cream Truck. There's a lot of similarities. Same techniques. I think it was like accordions and like some other percussion instrument um, in that in that song. Let's see. But they didn't have ice cream because they were playing that. Yeah. So it just sounded like circus music, um, and it was just basically Kid Brother rambling on. It was more of a practice in improv than anything. Next song is called Lazy One. Um, it's that riff is basically riffing off of an easy listening song called Sleepwalk by Tito and Santo or something. It's from like the late 1950s, early 1960s. Do 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 do. It's a very famous, easy listening song. That's one of my favorite genres. Like just it's amazing instrumental. Look it up. It's called Sleepwalk by Tito and Santo or whatever. Next one, Spooked. What is that? Oh, Spooked was basically I there's a lot of pre-loops in GarageBand and I was just like, oh man, I got to put these to good use, right? For you know, basically free production music. There's a lot of sound effects, and so I was just experimenting with the sound effects and the pre pre-looped instruments. I could never play guitar like dun, 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 dun. So that's Spooked. Let's see, our song was kind of during 2008. I was going through like I was playing around with the acoustic guitar, and truth be told, like my skills on the acoustic guitar is probably the same as 2008, which means I haven't progressed very much at all. But our song was just one of those I was just experimenting with multiple vocals. That's why like you'll hear my own vocals on top of my regular vocals, and it's just playing with like sound coming off of the right and the left. It's almost like I'm singing with, well, myself, basically. Um, so I like our song. Let's see. 1969. I am not sure why I called it 1969, to be honest with you. Like, the whole idea of Headphonehead was to get as many like skits, um, and songs thrown in together on one album, and it ended up being like 24 tracks. But 1969, none of that was like all pre-loops thrown together in, I believe, GarageBand. What's Kid Brother Rules? Kid Brother Rules, just another skit, I guess. Let's see. Workaholics was based on there was this friend at the time. She was 5 years older than me, and she was gorgeous and really hot. Um, and I wanted to hang out with her all the time, but I was always in the friend zone, and she had two jobs, and I could never hang out with her. So it was just kind of like it was very cringy. I was like that one guy that always wants to hang out with the really like successful person, and in my mind I was like she was my friend, but in her mind I was just kind of like this dorky guy that couldn't take a hint type of thing. So looking back, it was just really cringy. I understand, you know, but so workaholics, you never have time. It's just work, 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 work. Um, and it's just really dramatic. It's a stupid song, but it was fun to make. Strong and Tough was kind of like a really depressing song. Like, I gotta stay strong and tough. One of my aunts was passing away at the time due to cancer, and so like it was just I don't remember if it was "Stay Strong and Tough" was a message to my aunt, or if it was just to me. I don't remember. I'll have to look up the lyrics. Anyway, next song is called "Secret." Do, 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 do. I don't remember. "Secret" was like a song written for Kid Brother. Um, just a filler song, if you will. Um, Next one. To stay forever. You're the Only One. Was another one of those sappy love songs, kind of like track number 6, Our Song. Uh, Written for the older brother character. Let's see, not really for anybody in particular. Same thing with Our Song. That wasn't written for anybody in particular. Confession. It's killing me inside. A lot of these songs, like especially Our Song, You're the Only One, and Confession, kind of, to me, it was kind of like a very folky style. You hear the acoustic guitar and just like some synthesizers in the background and some drums, and like just really easily put together. Um, Confession kind of like in that style. Um, I I didn't really confess my love to anybody. I was leaving, Augusta, Georgia, but other than that, Wasn't written for anybody really in particular that I remember. Let's see, Shallow. Shallow was kind of inspired by there's this band called Mr. Bungle, and they're very experimental. Mr. Bungle, I think the lead singer's from Faith No More, the same lead singer. Anyway, so like I remember in one of Mr. Bungle's songs, like he just distorted the voice to like a really deep voice, and I really liked that, and it sounded cool. So just it was just another one of those throwaway like experimental songs, just adding to the album. Not very memorable. 15 is Closer Reprise. Um, it's yeah, it's basically Closer, track two, but with without the singing. Um, changes Changes is one of the like really short songs of the album, and it was just very progressive. Um, just kind of like a little poetry thrown in there, talking about how people change, but I don't remember if I stay the same or not. But we all grow old, and hopefully we mature. We move on to the next phase in our lives or something. Lullaby is one of my favorites. Um, because it's so kind of dark and creepy. And it's basically, um, if you love me, just sing me a lullaby, and that's pretty much the whole song. And then like la 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 lullaby. Um, that's not directed at anybody really. It's just somebody singing, whoever's singing the song a lullaby, and put that guy to sleep. As far as I know, it doesn't really mean anything. Wasn't directed at anybody. Um, I remember track 18. Maria, can't you sing? Okay, so there was nobody in my life named Maria ever. I might have had a couple coworkers named Maria, but like it was just like a cool name, Maria, I guess. Sounds cool. Um, uh, I really enjoy using the organ in that one, and yeah, it's one of the better songs I think, timing wise and everything. Pretty cool. Number 19, Aberdabum. Let's see. Aberdabum is actually my cousin's nickname when he was a little like kid. Adam, as in Aberdabum. His father would always say Aberdabum, and and it's just really I don't know. In the context of the song, I think Aberdabum is supposed to be a place, kind of like Xanadu, the musical Xanadu, the cult film Xanadu. Really cool. Uh, Enjoy the Show is track number 20. Um, this one even talks about Jurassic Park. There we go in the first line. Sometimes I want to go to Jurassic Park, but I can't. Enjoy the Show is one of my favorite songs. In my mind, I think I've achieved something great, because at one point in the song, there was like three different melodies that harmonize. You have the dun 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 dun, dun, and then you have the dun 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 dun, and then you have the I remember there was another one. Dun 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 dun, and then you have all three combined. I remember at one point, I think towards the end, and it's just to me it worked. I don't know if it worked for anybody else. It's um, just basically me saying, "Hey, man, just enjoy the show," um, because I can't, because I am performing in the show. Um, uh, next one is sheep. Um, I'm not sure. Okay, so that's another one of those garage band songs, obviously, I put together. Um, the only thing that's not, obviously is the synthesizer layer, like um, usually my synth solos are just, single notations that, that type of thing. And I would slap that in like just about every song or every other song at the time. Um, and Sheep was just a name I came up with, and doesn't really mean anything. Uh, I don't think that song sounds like a sheep or anything. Just an instrumental. If you like it, good. If you don't, it's all right. Summers. Now I remember the Summers song kind of reminded me of a Radiohead song, where you had you had the melody and you had like the drums, and and the rhythm was kind of off, but it was still synced. So like one's going faster and one's going slow. Like maybe the drums was slow, like do, dish, do, dish, and then like the main melody was faster, but it somehow synced up. It's hard to explain. I like Summers. It wasn't directed at anybody. It was directed more as like if I had a girlfriend at the time, and then later on, we're looking back and I sing her this song. Do you remember past summers, girl? Do you remember past summers? Something like that. It's I don't know. It's one of those like it's alternative, but it's a throwback at the same time. Let's just say it's experimental. Um, I thought it was all right. Number 23, Watch Over Me. I Watch Over Me is just kind of like that other song um earlier on. I don't remember, but it was another song dealing with the tragic passing away of one of my aunts due to cancer that year. And I'm just basically saying, hey, watch over me. Watch over me tonight. Um, but I think, you know, I could have executed it better, but I felt like half of this album, to be honest, was a little rushed. But yeah, compared to the first Nostalgic Brothers album, I think I like the first one better. But there's a couple songs on the second one that I definitely do like. It's very different. It's a lot more experimental, I think, in this one. Uh, and with the addition of the acoustic guitar, it's a big difference compared to the first Nostalgic Brothers album, which was mostly keyboards, if you remember. Um, And then outro. What's outro? Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. And yeah, it was basically, the last track and then saying goodbye, until next time, or something like that. But we never, we, I never made another Nostalgic Brothers album, because I've moved on, and you know, like later on in the coming weeks, you'll find out, like, I've moved on to Kid Brother and the Little Bird Band and the Bedtime Dreamers, which is ultimately what I am now, the Bedtime Dreamers. It's just slightly different than Nostalgic Brothers, but you can hear the influences of kind of like Nostalgic Brothers, with like some of the like ideas or and stuff. But yeah, that's it for Nostalgic Brothers Headphonehead review, or behind the music, I should say. So hope you enjoy that.